We the Fans is the #1 sponsor in battle rap. My name is Frank White, and I probably contributed to some of your favorite battles. I mean, in the last 4 years, I donated $222,000 to battle rap for the culture. Check out We the Fans Global on Instagram for the full catalog of battles I sponsor. And follow We the Fans Global on YouTube to watch full battle breakdowns from a sponsor's perspective and a recommendation for what battles should be booked next. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe and keep stepping into your greatness. We the Fans is for the culture.
What's going on, Charron?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, man, thanks for pulling up. This is an incredible opportunity. I'm a huge fan of yours. How's everything?
Everything's blessed, bro. You know, it's a new year.
Yes,
So
sir.
just hoping for the best for everyone, man.
Likewise, likewise. Well, let's get into it because you a family man now. So, you know what I'm saying? Time is of the essence.
Yeah, for sure. They're just napping for about an hour, so we got about an hour, bro.
I bet. Let me get to it. So first of all, Sharon, I'm a huge fan of yours. I want to start off by saying I believe Sandman was your first battle on KOTD. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Incredible. And then you went on to battle on Don't Flop, and you even battled on 106 in Park, which is incredible. The one that I saw, I remember, was you versus Interstate Facts. What was that 106 in Park experience like for you?
Yeah, the 106 in Park experience was amazing. I mean, the my first introduction to battle rap, besides 8 Mile, obviously, was Jin on 106 in Park, his run. So I was ripping that off LimeWire when I was a little kid, and I was like, oh man, I would love to do that someday. And I had difficulties getting on the show because I was Canadian. So they've only let on one Canadian before, Bishop Brigante, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Bishop.
So Bishop was a 106 in Park champion, and he was
Amazing.
smoking people. But then he accidentally said, I swear I forget which cuss word, but he said some cuss word, and they disqualified him. So like
Oh man.
he never actually was defeated, but he was disqualified.
Wow.
So, they never really let anyone else from Canada on again. I got like a petition to go on the show because I like auditioned. They wouldn't let me on. And then
Mhm.
they said I could go on because, my battle rap fans petitioned for me. And then,
Fire.
yeah, I ended up winning the whole tournament, beat Interstate Fats in the finals, Hall of Fame, everything like that.
Man, that's legendary. Salute to you, man.
Thank you.
All right, so the first battle I want to discuss. Sometimes I do wins and losses and stuff like that, but I don't want to do this for this. I just want to discuss the highlights. So Sharon versus DNA on World Domination 4. You claim you'll shoot me with the fictional Glock. You're like organic with the title. You ain't never gonna give me a shot.
That's
Hit him
hard.
with the force of a Mack truck while I mask up like MF Doom. Those were some of my favorite bars. What do you remember from that DNA battle of World Domination?
That's funny. When people quote bars from like a decade ago, sometimes I'm
Mhm.
like, ah, damn, I forgot I said that. That was kind of hot. I mean, I could give you some backstory about it. That it
Please.
was supposed to be me and Suge for World Dom.
Oh
It
wow.
it was
Okay.
even announced on the flyer, and then about like 6 days before,
Mhm.
Sugar was having passport issues, and then once again, rest in peace, Bishop called me and was
Salute
like,
Bishop.
yeah, Suge can't make it. So, and that was my big debut against like a
Mhm.
URL rapper, right? So
Mhm.
I was upset, and then he's like, "Yo, we could get DNA though," and I said, "No, I don't know if I'm ready, man. DNA is a beast, and like
Mhm.
6 days preparation. What are we talking
Crazy.
about?" And
Crazy.
Bishop kind of just called me back after I said no. He's like, "Look, there's people that are gonna fold under pressure, or people that are gonna step up to the plate. Like, which one are you?" And I was like, "Fuck." Okay, I'll do the battle. And yeah, it ended up being a really great decision.
That's fantastic. That is a phenomenal man. That's crazy to hear. Well, it was a great battle. Next battle. This is how I discovered who you were actually, and then I went back and did my research on like the 30+ battles you had before this battle. But I watched Arsenal on the pool table battling Hollow, and I became a battle rap fan. But I had casually watched battle rap. I remember watching Shells versus Idea on HBO, and I would
Yep.
like casually consume battle rap. But then when I seen Arsenal and Hollow at the pool table, I was like, oh nah, I gotta look up everything. And then I stumbled across Arsenal versus Charron on Don't Flop. Your opening line of "She's my main bitch, I pimp her out. She knew to put 80% in my pimp hand" was hilarious. You have no quotes and got played by Rowan like Mr. Bean.
That's
That
hard.
was
That's hard.
crazy. What do you remember from that Arsenal battle?
Yeah, I remember he pulled out his phone. uh, I remember also another back because I feel at this point just quoting bars, people could look at the bars itself. Like maybe I could give you some stories about it.
Hmm.
Um, I was very good friends at the time with Daylight, and
Okay.
Daylight's the troll god of battle rap, right?
The king, yeah.
So he was going to be behind me in my corner, and he was going to pull out a Grape Street flag and put it on me halfway through my round, and then kind of just be there like what. And then he could, and I had a bunch of bar segments about that.
Hmm.
So he couldn't make it. He got denied at the border or something. So
Oh
I had all
wow.
these bars about it, and I was like, oh shit. So I was like walking around the UK looking for like a bandana. Got that, did the battle, and yeah, that was a good battle, man. I really feel like Arsenal, he just came off the Shoddy Horror most viewed battle and Don't Flop
Hmm.
history there. So
Hmm.
I was a heavy underdog.
Hmm. Well, you did your numbers. It was a very entertaining battle, and you was rapping even back then. Like your pen was there. You know what I'm saying? And it was developing. Um, this next battle is one of my favorite battles from you. Sharon versus Shotgun Suge on URL. Your poise and your ability to adapt to any audience was very apparent. One of my favorite bars from that battle was Chris Brown VMAs. I'm effing up Suge Knight. I thought that was
Fire.
crazy. And then this is Columbine, a white boy taking shotgun to school. I was like, nah, Sharon is crazy. What do you remember from that battle? And Smack was in the building too. What do you remember from that battle?
Mac was in the building from that battle. I just remember there was a lot of people online saying no way Sharon gets good reception on URL. People are like, yeah, that shit ain't gonna work. Like he's only good in front of the nerds or whatever. And I
Hmm.
just remember being like, nah, like I'm nice. I punch. Like people, they could look at my appearance and think a certain way. That's cool, but I'm like, I know my bars are nice. So I remember just being there, and it's so funny. I keep Bishop was the only one from Canada in my corner. He was out there, in New York,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
remember the reaction I got off of the Columbine line. It really threw me off. It was like a really big reaction. It was probably like
Huge
over a minute.
reaction.
It was over a minute reaction. I remember Smack got on stage and started filming. And then I was going to do a freestyle line about, like, I don't know what it was going to be. You're getting bodied when Smack comes out to film or whatever it would be.
Hmm.
And the crowd just kept reacting. And I was like, okay. Then he stopped filming. And then I remember being like, man, what the fuck was my bar? Where, and I'm like, I don't choke in battles
Yeah.
often or really ever. And
Yeah.
then you could hear me in the battle while they're reacting. I turned to Bishop. I say, what was my bar? And he
What
said,
was my yeah, yeah, yeah.
taking a shotgun to school. And then I remember, so I don't count that as choking because by the time the crowd stopped reacting, I got to my bars. But I really had a
100%.
blank out because the reaction was so long.
That's so crazy. But yeah, that was a major reaction, and I think one of the biggest quotables from that battle. Before I get to the next battle, I want to ask you, and I ask everyone that comes on the platform, rest in peace, Pat Stay. What is your favorite memory with Pat Stay?
Damn. I mean, off top, I can't probably name one. We've had a lot of good
Mhm.
memories, but if you give me like a second to gather my thoughts,
Take
I
your
could.
time. Take your time. No rush. We got all day.
Okay, so it's not a funny story or anything, but I
Hmm.
would say my favorite memory of Pat's day is when I was out filming his show Unreasonable Rob in
Hmm.
Halifax.
Hmm.
Um, we went to his house quickly, and he introduced me to Calvin, his son. It was my first
Hmm.
time meeting Calvin, and
Hmm.
they were just playing, wrestling and stuff together for a couple minutes. And he just Pat was just so energetic and lit up, and he's like, oh man, he's my best friend in the world. Like I love this guy,
Hmm.
and he was saying like, wait till you have a son someday, man. It's magical, you know.
Mhm.
Just the love that he had for his son was really apparent. So I would say that was my favorite moment, seeing him
That
interact
is
with
so dope.
Calvin.
That is so dope, man. Rest in peace, Pat Stay, a true legend.
Yeah,
Um, I stayed up all night thinking about how I was gonna ask this question, so I'm gonna frame it to you that I'm a huge fan of battle rap. I'm very passionate about it, and I remember when this battle happened, and I wanted. I was a fan of both of y'all, but halfway through the battle, a shift occurred internally for me, and I was rooting for you to win. And I remember when around the third and you having to piece together the third that you put together. And then I remember hearing the backstory of what happened with the third. I was very frustrated as a fan. You know what I mean? I understand the reasoning and all that. But for the people who don't know, right? What exactly happened in the third?
for sure. So Pat Stay and I actually ended up being really, really good friends, and it was, you know, probably around like 2000, like 16, 17, about a year or two after we battled. That's when we
Hmm.
became friends.
Hmm.
Before that, it's not that we didn't like each other or anything, but
Hmm.
we were the top two Canadians, right? And he was always number one. I was always number two. So there was that animosity, right? It was like
Hmm.
he was the GOAT. I was the kid on the come up trying to take his spot. So
Hmm.
I definitely really wanted to beat him, and he didn't want to lose to me, right? Because he's that
Hmm.
guy in Canada.
Hmm.
And what happened was he battled Holohan, and Holohan and I were good friends too. And at the time, Holohan, according this is Holohan's words, not mine. Him and Pat had a gentleman's agreement for their battle because they grew up in school together, like they knew each other in real life. That they were just going to keep it rap and not go personal angles because they have a lot of personals on each other. And Holohan feels he kept true to his word and Pat didn't. He brought up some things that weren't rap, right?
Hmm.
And Holohan had a bunch of angles that he wanted to use on Pat. So Holohan and I was like, well, shit, I could just use all the angles, not like the punchlines, but bring up the things you wanted to say to Pat, like this happened, this happened, this happened. I'll make bars about it. You could be on his side, and then I could say if all this is true, Holohan switch over to my side, and then Holohan was going to come out and spit a bar like you're the one that effed up the loyalty. That was like, the bar in their battle. And it was going to be to like hype up a rematch with them too.
Fire. Fire.
And I think Holohan told that idea to someone, and
Mhm.
that person told someone who told Pat, and Pat caught wind of it. I don't know when he found out or who told him, but basically, like an hour before the battle, Pat pulled me and Organic aside and was like, I know the type of bullshit that's going on. Holohan's not allowed on the stage. If he is, there's going to be like a problem, fights and all that. At that point, like obviously I wanted Holohan on the stage, but it was like he already knew what I was doing anyway, so it wasn't going to matter. And then my third round didn't really make sense because Holohan was going to spit some bars, and without Holohan having the visual of switching sides, it doesn't really. There's no proof that this is true. So I
Mhm.
scrapped a lot of my third round and
An
rewrote
hour
it.
before the battle.
Yeah, like before we hit the stage, and I was freestyling on stage, like about Mook being there and stuff. So, I mean, I wasn't very happy with how it turned out, but
Mhm.
I took a risk. It didn't pay off, but that's just life, right?
100%. And I love that y'all were able to move on and both build history. I do want to say it was incredible to see you battling in front of Mook. Also, my favorite bar, and there's few moments where you watch battles where you feel something emotionally. And I remember Yalan, I can't even hold eye contact is really true, but I block it out and make you look at me while I'm killing you. And you were
That was
describing
hard.
like the your condition and how it sometimes affects your ability to display your gift. Can you talk a little bit about that for the fans? What is that like for you?
Yeah, and like the reason that was, brought up in the battle, it's just because, Pat has a formula where his first round is really aggressive, his second
Mhm.
round is all jokes, and then his third
Mhm.
round is like interpersonal, like real talk round struggle.
Mhm.
So that's why part of the game plan was to have that real talk round and everything, and because he would always go deep into his upbringing and whatnot, so I brought that up. But yeah, it's just like basically like pretty similar to like Asperger's, so just kind of what like Elon Musk has and everything, right? So just
Mm-hmm.
miss some social cues and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. At the end of the day, everything is a gift and a curse, right? With any
100%.
even a blind man has the best hearing around, right? So
That's a
anytime you
fact.
anytime you have a weakness in life at anything, you're going to compensate it by being gifted in other areas. So I
You
don't
are
sweat it.
100% correct. Salute to you. As I said, that's one of my favorite battles. And Pat's third, I think, is one of the best third rounds I've ever heard from him.
Salute.
Um, and like I said, I was in the moment. I was just rooting for you so much, and watching you piece together that third in real time was just incredible. And I just remember thinking, this man is a genius. We're watching a genius at work.
Thank
Um,
you.
Thank you. So this next battle, and I'm glad y'all handled it like grown men for this next battle. Obviously, Charron versus Kayshawn on Bullpen Battle League. We got to talk about it.
Yeah.
There had been some turbulence in the previous battle, and then they lined this up. My favorite bar from you, Kobe's retirement. This gonna end with a 60. I'm a
Fire.
17 in blackjack. You're gonna regret that you hit me. I thought
Fire.
that was
Fire.
crazy.
I forgot I
Um,
said that. That shit's hard.
it was tough. But tell me what you remember from this battle, and obviously salute to Sean because you ended up working on his league as well, having a great battle there. So tell me what you remember from Sharon versus Kayshawn.
Yeah, salute to Shine, man. And like I said, I just did the Reed Dollars battle. I hope it comes out on YouTube eventually. But
Mm-hmm,
salute to Shine for booking me. We worked through everything. I
mm-hmm,
mean, K Shine and DNA, they were like going through a prop tour in battles, right? I don't know if you remember, but they were doing props.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Me and Bullets got booked to do a 2-on-2 with them. Don't flop Atlanta, and
Shout
we're
out
like,
100
yo, let's
bullets.
100 bullets, man. Still talk to him to this day. And I'm like, yo, or one of us was like, let's do props in the third round. And we're
Mm-hmm,
like, oh, Slim Jesus just went viral. I'm like, yeah, let's do some Slim Jesus stuff.
mm-hmm,
And we had the cap gun and everything. And I know people have narratives after and say like, oh, you shouldn't have pulled a gun out on him, and that may be rightfully so. We did tell them before, we're like, hey, just to let you know, we have a prop in the third round, just so no, they didn't get caught off guard by
mm-hmm,
anything like that.
mm-hmm,
We didn't tell them what
mm-hmm,
it was, so they knew what it was.
mm-hmm,
And I wasn't happy how I reacted, but I also, wasn't happy how Shine reacted because you could see when I pulled the cap gun out and started rapping, he was laughing. He didn't
mm-hmm,
sense any danger or anything, right? Where I think after people saying, "Oh, there's danger," and all, like he was laughing, and then he
mm-hmm,
was upset because the crowd was reacting so much. I had to run it back again. We were
mm-hmm,
cooking, so he knocked it out of my hands,
mm-hmm,
and I should have just kept rapping, but I was, in the moment,
yeah,
adrenaline, and then I
yeah,
knocked his hat off his head.
yeah,
Shouldn't
yeah,
have done that.
yeah,
And then he slapped me, and then the battle ended. And I think
mm-hmm,
I was trying to rap, but I forgot how to rap because I was dazed. I was freestyling, and that was it. Like
yeah,
it ended up on like World Star back when that was a thing right away.
yeah.
I know
I
my
remember
family
that.
was messaging me like, "Yo, we've seen you get beat up on World Star and all this stuff." I'm like,
That's
"Yeah."
crazy.
Yeah, don't worry, mom, it's fine. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
it was just an unfortunate situation. I still think he escalated it. I mean,
Mm-hmm,
by starting it, but I should have kept my cool. But it
mm-hmm,
is what it
mm-hmm.
is, and I will say salute to K Shine. There's no
Salute to
bad blood.
Sean. Yeah, salute to Sean. And y'all handled it like grown men, which I love. You know what I'm saying? So salute to both of y'all, really.
Yep.
Um, but it was a competitive battle though. He was
Yep.
bombing. Like he was rapping,
Crazy.
rapping. You know what I'm saying? And y'all both was wilding. This next battle was to me a real testament to your skill because the environment was a tough environment for anybody. And the way you just took over the room and it's a skill set to be able to adapt to all these different environments. And Charron versus Tay Rock on UW
Mm.
was a crazy battle. There's a few lines I had that I really loved. This Ronald Reagan, a white boy's pushing rock in the hood. You a bitch that can't win without arm bars. You Ronda Rousey. I just want to
Right.
spit a Jadakiss verse before Suge does it later tonight.
That shit
Like
shut down the
you was
stream.
yo. What do you remember from that?
I just remember Rock was like very intimidating at the time. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
backstage screaming and barking on Sirius Jones, and I'm like, damn, what did I get myself into? This guy has anger issues, man. This guy needs
Yeah.
help. But
Shout out Rock. Shout out Rock.
yeah, no, shout out Rock. And then yeah, I just remember Rock was always one of my favorite battlers, if not my favorite battler. And
Mm-hmm.
I only called myself the Smack Killer. I think I said it in a setup line against John John. I was just like, it's the Smack Killer, and then just kept rapping. I didn't think anything of it. It was just like a setup line, or I just said it in a battle. It wasn't even a punchline. And
Mm-hmm.
then after that, everyone just called me the Smack Killer. But
Okay.
I said that originally because Rock was, whether he was called Smack's Gunner or Smack's Killer, he was
Mm-hmm.
basically like, Smack's right hand man. So
Mm-hmm.
the whole, like, me referring myself to that was just to bait Rock into a battle because that's who I really wanted to battle. He's one of my favorites. So once like I got the Rock battle, I don't really call myself the Smack Killer anymore, but that's just what people still refer to me as. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just remember that was just a really fun battle to be involved with. I did end up doing 3 UW battles, B Magic, Tay Rock, and Danny. So salute to Ars for booking all 3 of those.
Mm. Okay, that's incredible. Um, this next battle, the the energy in the room, the energy, the competitiveness, just I loved everything about this battle. Charron versus Rone on KOTD. Um, you were wilding. I gotta quote these lines, but I'm gonna preface it with a pause because we're in a different time now. But you were wilding. The only
Uh,
person, the only person to come from behind Rone is Sandusky. He flew
oh
me
yeah,
first class. He made you rod coach.
crazy shit.
Rome fans, we need to see you all. You all need to hold this L. GBTQ. I'm not surprised he split. That's what Adams do when they blow up.
Oh,
Is
that's
Rome
fire.
one of your toughest fights?
Yeah, I mean Rone is really good, man. And I took Rone in his comeback battle. It's been
Mm-hmm.
like 3 years or something. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew Rone wasn't going to be one of those like SoulCon guys that came back and forgot how to rap, right? Because Rone is
Hey, come
active.
on. Hey.
No, I mean, no, I'm just gonna be, bro. I'll say it the way it is. Like SoulCon is one of my favorites, and since then he's had great performances. He was great
Facts.
against A Ward. He was
Facts.
great against, I think it was QP. I watched him in Ireland. He was great, but
Yeah,
it
and he
really
had a
looked
great
like
one
he
with
for,
Oppo and iBattle as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I saw that, but I heard he did
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
But SoulCon against Disaster, it literally sounded like he forgot how to rap. Like we have to just keep it honest,
We
and I
gotta
like
keep it a bean.
shout out to SoulCon.
Shout out to
I actually
Sultan.
think he's really good, but
Mm-hmm.
the ring rust is a real thing. That's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
Rome, he's active in the media. He's on Barstool. He's in front of a camera every day. He's creating. I knew he was going to be good. It's a comeback battle, and yeah, Rome was phenomenal. A lot of people have Rome winning that matchup, especially his third round was extremely creative, and yeah, I think that was a really, really good battle, whether I won or whether I lost. I think most
Mm-hmm.
people have me losing. It was a good time. It's about to hit 1 million views on King of the Dot soon.
Oh,
So, I
crazy.
mean, it is what it is. Salute to
Mm,
Roan, man. That guy put on a
absolutely.
clinic.
Agreed. I always wanted to ask you, did you really uh change your name because of Rome? You remember that was one of his angles.
No, I never changed my name because of Roan. I didn't think that. So, Roan had a lot of great material in that battle.
Hmm.
I thought the whole Sharon and like Shaganic thing was corny. That line, I was like, what? Because because my rap name, if you could see the car crash battle I did,
Hmm.
um it was Triple C. That was my name.
Mm.
That was going to be my rap name when I entered King of the Dot.
Okay.
However, I watched Conceited beat dog shit down Ilmac's leg doing name flips, ill flips, Mac flips. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, we're doing like name flips. I didn't even, I was young, but I realized I'm like, name flips eventually are going to be a big part of battle rap. They're probably the biggest part of battle rap right now,
100%.
name flips.
100%.
And I realized I'm like, nah, name flips are going to be deadly. I can't call myself Triple C. They'll call me like Triple KKK. Like they're going to say some like wild
They're
shit
gonna
to me,
flip it crazy.
like
Yup. Yup.
I was like, I can't call myself Triple C. So I'm like, well, I need something that people can't really flip. And I was like, why don't I just call myself Charron? That's my last name. There's not really much they could do with Charron. So that's why I went with Charron. I didn't even see Rone's, I don't know what his DNA or whatever his battle was before until I already battled on King of the Dot.
Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up. That was just for me. I always wanted to ask you that. This next battle, and actually this season of time that you were battling, I want to say it was 2024. You were just 30ing everybody. And you
Yeah.
were just on this crazy run. And I remember when they announced Charron versus Ilmac on KOTD, I was like, it ain't no way he's about to do that to Ilmac. I know that much. And man, I'm just gonna quote some of my favorites here. I'm Terry Fox. I'm on the sickest run Canada's ever seen. This critic will end up in critical, and now we both have conditions. I only watch my rounds to keep up with my competition. I don't care if you approach me as long as I don't care if you appreciate as long as my investments do. I learned from Nick Cannon. I have no plan B. Everyone loves to psychoanalyze until it's time to analyze a psycho. Why'd you call your album Free Butter when you had no bread to put it on? Would you rather 3,000 streams or 7 incomes? I son so many rappers, God gave me twins. So who's really Mr. Two Times every day?
That's
Oh my
all first
God!
verse. All first
Yo,
verse.
what is wrong with you? Why you was talking to Ilmac like that?
Here's the thing, and I like Ilmac too.
I love Ilmac. Salute Ilmac.
Ilmac's a great person and an amazing
100%.
rapper. Yo, check out
100%.
his winter project. That shit is
Yep,
fire.
new album, Winter's drop. Make sure y'all peep that.
Ilmac's music is very good.
Facts.
However, I'm just like kind of a sicko when it comes to battle rap, and like I compare my mind state to anyone would be Tom Brady, and I hear quotes where like, Tom Brady is like, did this guy just say this about me? Like you create things in your head that they think they're better than you or they don't think you're good at all. And because Ilmac's a good dude, but I had to really like hypnotize myself and be like, nah, I need to fucking kill this guy because I seen he put out some content on his channel before he was with like Fredo and Avocado and stuff, and they're predicting how me versus Verb was gonna go, and they were all making fun of how I rapped and was saying like Verb was gonna kill me and I should just be battling white guys. I don't need to be battling people from URL, and we're just not really giving me credit for what I was doing. And I was like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I can't wait to fucking kill you someday. I'm going to fucking slit your throat on camera, bro, and make you pay for this. And like I knew, I'm like, Ilmac's gonna get it someday. Like Ilmac is really gonna die in a battle. But like I just remember like I want to beat dog shit down his leg for him even thinking that Charron shouldn't be doing this or thinking he's better than me. Whether he's a better rapper in music, but I'm like, you can't do what I do, and you're gonna pay one day for it. And I made him pay.
I made him pay. It's so crazy.
Bro, that's just like for me, that's just how it is. And it wasn't like that for everyone. Like I'll battle. Most people are nice to me and don't, they never really said anything out of pocket. But like when I hear someone say that, I'm like, oh no, like I'm just like, you're getting the full clip.
I'm gonna show you. Yeah. Well, that was a great thing. That whole season though, you was wilding. Yeah, it was just relentless. And Charron, to say the word Charron 30 to Ilmac is just kind of crazy to say. You know what I'm saying? Ilmac is a legend, and salute. Everybody wins and loses as part of becoming a legend, but that was a staple performance from you. And this next one is no different. I my son was going through a lot of legal trouble at the time, but I remember sitting down and watching this battle with him, and he's currently locked up now. But every 5 seconds of this battle, both of us were jumping up and down and going crazy. I remember my girl had to come and tell us to shut up a few times.
I'm gonna guess. Is this the Ill Will battle?
Charron versus Ill Will on Chrome 23. Brother, I don't know what possessed you that day. You're like a chess performance. You never hold the yak down. You're washed up and known for biting the glove like Mike Tyson. It gets worse for Ill on bigger stages like a cancer there's like almost every, and this is gonna sound like glazing, I'm sorry, but almost every single line in this battle from you is a haymaker. And I'm not exaggerating. How did you put this material together? Can you walk us through how this came together? Like, let me calm down. What happened here? Can you explain it?
Man, like I think my 3 rounds for Ill Will is probably my best 3 rounds I ever put together.
There it is.
I just was going through a lot at the time. Like my kids were in the NICU or in a different city. We didn't know if one of them was gonna make it. We are going through a lot of rough times and stuff, and I was just like, I needed kind of an outlet and an escape, so I was just really locked in for this battle because I was going through a lot. So I'm like, to block it out and to work on a battle, like when you're going through something, you need kind of like an escape, right? So you could escape through drugs, you could escape through, bad decisions, right? Alcohol and all sorts of things. But I'm like, I'm going to choose, this battle is my outlet. Like at night, just lock in and piece things up. So yeah, like it really helped me get through that rough period, right? And everything is going great now with my kids. So
God
I
bless
feel
you and
like
family.
I was just possessed and locked in.
Possessed is the exact way I
Yeah.
put it. And Ill was fighting though. Ill was doing his thing, but it's one of those battles where it doesn't matter what the opponent does. It's just this person's night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you were just, did you know, like, there's even a meme of you looking into the camera, which I use every time. Did you know during the battle that like you were like I'm about to kill this man? Like, was there any point of the battle where you were like doubting yourself, or you just knew this material is nothing he could do?
Yeah, I just like I knew the material was so good. I was like, damn. And Ill Will never even gave me a reason. Like Ilmac gave me a reason. Ill Will never gave me a reason. It was just kind of like I was just locked in. I was like, oh man, poor Will. Like this is kind of why does he have to stand in front of these 3 rounds? He didn't do nothing to deserve this.
All right, man. You're not battling no more people with the word ill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Illegitimate or anybody with an ill name in their, you know what I'm saying? Just stay
young
away.
Ill, man. Keep retired.
Hey, stay
man.
away, young ill. Stay away. All right. So this next one, I wanted to give you the floor. I want you to tell me, what are your favorite battles? I could go on and on about the ones I love, but for you, what are your most memorable battles that we haven't mentioned?
Damn, yeah, you touched upon a lot of the battles. I mean, I'll say Chef Trez.
I was gonna ask you about Chef Trez, Big Cannon, those types of battles. Talk to me about the Chef Trez battle.
Yeah, I mean, I did the Big Cannon battle on RBE. We did the bonus 4th round. It went well. People really liked it, but
classic. Salute to RBE. That's a classic.
Yeah, it was a really good one. And then they hit me up for the Chef Trez battle, and I was like, "Yo, let's do the bonus 4th round. No extra money, no, just for the culture." And Chef Trez was like, "Of course, because Chef Trez he's for the culture, and he's if not the best rebuttaler. You can't have a top 3 list without Chef Trez." So
100%.
Yeah, we did that 4th round, and like some people, did they practice together? I swear on my kids, on my mother, we did not practice one line together. That was all freestyle. We did not know what was going to happen. It could have been boring. It could have flopped. But that day, we must have had the right breakfast. We were just sharp, and it just flowed so well, and it ended with the crowd screaming RBE, which they use in trailers and stuff. So that,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that was a
Mm-hmm.
really, really good moment.
History. That's history right there.
That was super
Um,
fire.
I
Um,
I'm gonna just start a couple battles. Do you remember you and A Ward?
I remember all my battles.
Talk heavy. What do you remember from the UN A War battle? Because I thought that was a hyper competitive battle too.
That was a super dope battle. I remember that. I remember A Ward was calling me out a lot. He really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to battle me,
Mm-hmm.
taking shots at me and everything as he should. He was on the come up,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I ducked him for one event. I battled. They wanted me versus Ward on Decade,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, nah, I'm good. And then I ended up battling Jims or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I remember
then
that. Salute
he
James.
really, yeah, salute Jims. He really wanted to battle me, so I was like, all right, fine, let's do it. Let's get it over with. And I like looked at it like in a Mayweather Canelo sense, where I'm like, well, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to see him eventually, and he's gonna keep getting better, so I might as well get him while he's younger, right?
While he's
Pause.
figuring it out, yeah,
Yeah.
it's honest of you to admit that though. Like that's real.
Yes. So I was like, oh, this problem isn't going away anytime soon. A-Ward is really good. So
Yeah.
battled him out there, and I just remember the weirdest thing, like, because he's a rebuttaler and I'm a rebuttaler. He wanted to do the coin. He was like, I'm going first. And I was like, what the hell? What does he have up his sleeve? So I was like, nah, I'm going first. And we were fighting over who was going to go first. I had to flip a coin, and
Yeah.
he won, and he went first. And I don't know. He just said he wanted to go first, but I thought he was up to no good, or so. He had some
Mm-hmm.
trick up his sleeve. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I remember it was a dope battle, and it was in England. And I remember he clearly got round 2, and I clearly got round 1. And then round
Yeah.
3 is kind of up for debate.
Yep, yep. He was bombing, man. That's one of them fights, and he's having a Cody year this year, so it's just dope to see how far both of y'all have come. You know what I'm saying?
He's
Speaking of
definitely top 3.
England, yeah. Speaking of England, God bless you. Speaking of England, there's there's a few fights that you had over there. You remember your Yunnan battle,
Yo, that's crazy. You've seen that battle. I didn't know a lot. I thought that was all like don't flop fans that have seen that since he's
brother?
not like
I could tell you. I remember Bleak. I think Bleak was on that card. That's another dude from UK. That I'm a battle rap fan.
for
Sharon.
for sure. But and I just meant a lot of people only watch like the North American battlers, right? So the
No,
fact
no,
that
I
you
watch
know
everybody.
unanimous, that's
I
crazy.
love Yunnan. I'm man. Yunnan, Shadi, Kruger, Shuffle T, Marlowe, Gemini, Bizzo Bar. I could go on and on. There's a dude you might not even know. MK Southside, RX Southside, the whole Southside crew.
Sheesh.
I
You're
love
really
battle rap,
tapped in.
bro. If I could understand Filipino, I'd be naming flip top battles. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But
Yeah.
but talk
So
talk to me about the UK experience and just what are your favorite moments from battling in that scene?
man, I really love battling Yunnan. I still think that was one of my best performances
A
to
hundred
date.
percent.
I think I smoked Yunnan.
Mhm.
Um, one of my worst performances ever was my first time in England against Johnny Storm. I remember I did
Mhm.
not. I think I got bodied, and I wasn't good
Yes.
in that. I wasn't
Yes.
good in that battle. But it taught me a lot of lessons. That's why I don't care about losing battles. I've done like 130 some battles. Like, you're
Thanks.
gonna have some bad performances, you're going to lose some, but as long as you learn from it, it's cool. So I
Yep.
learned a lot of things from the Johnny Storm loss. And
Mhm.
I think that whole weekend I did like a freestyle tournament there. I won. I was battling people outside. I
Mhm.
went to England. I battled Pedro, did a freestyle
Yep.
battle.
Pedro. Yep.
I battled some guy, I think his name was Dots or something. I did a on beat battle with him.
Mhm. Was your
um
wand battle over there?
yeah, my Juan battle was
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
um I think Juan beat me. I can't remember. I haven't seen
Yeah, he
that in a
did,
while.
which was really weird because I remember thinking, "Who the hell is this
Yeah, I was
guy?"
like, who the hell is this guy? Um, that
Yeah.
was one of those things. Like, and I usually just like battle people because I want to battle people.
Hmm.
But at the time, I think the most I ever got, besides the Pat Stay battle, I think the most I ever got paid for a battle was the Juan battle, because I was
Crazy.
like, no, I don't want to battle this guy. And then just offered me a bunch of money, and I was like, nah. And then it got to a point where I was like, well, I guess I have to do this battle now. So that it still counts as a loss. But for me, that was like the one time I felt like I just was going in for a check and coming out.
Mhm.
which is no excuse. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Juan got me out of there. That was
He
crazy.
did. He did. I remember thinking, "Yo, who the hell is this?" But salute to you for going over there, and salute the UK scene, man. They produce some incredible battles. Salute Don't Flop. Salute Premier Battle League. Salute all the guys over there. You know, there's no loose chat. I could go on and on. Salute to everybody in the UK scene.
Yep,
Um, okay, now getting to the future, brother. You sent me a list of the people that you would potentially battle. Would you mind if I read this list right quick?
of course.
Okay, brother. So here are the people I've got on the list. Disaster, Shoddy Horror, Iron Solomon, a 2-on-2 with Tay Rock, Goods, Chess, Calico, Real Sick, T Rex, Easy, Daylight, Mook, Lux, Surf, Free to Wave, Hitman Holla, Reed Dollars, Av, and Jazz the Rapper. And I just want to point out something here. You put Jazz with two Z's, and I know you was being intentionally disrespectful. Could you please discuss why you'd like to battle Jazz with one Z, sir?
I think honestly, I wasn't. I think that's just autocorrect because
Yeah, I doubt that, sir.
no, you know what? Jazz and I were set up to a battle, but it was a compliment battle. It was on
Mm,
the Rone the Nicest series,
okay.
and I think she had to battle like a real battle that weekend or something, so she had to turn it down.
Mhm,
So then I battled Loso, but I think Jazz to me is my favorite female battle rapper of all time.
mm.
So I think it would be cool to battle her. She's really good, man. That's why I was like, maybe I could just get a compliment battle on the resume with her because she's deadly. But yeah,
We're
I would
not
like.
gonna let that slide, sir. It's two Z's in there. That need to be a battle. It has to happen. Also, after the Ill Will battle, I was thinking, and I've always thought this, that you and Av would have a great battle. Is that crazy to say?
I think I would be a great battle. We both punchline, right? Like
Hmm.
that's why some people say I don't know, joke rapper. I don't know how people would. It's funny because I've been battling for like 20 years. I'm like, no, I'm a punch.
Hmm.
Like no one in King of the Dot punches like me. Like Pat
That's true.
Stay, the goat. He was like the performance guy of
A
King of the
hundred
Dot.
percent. 100%.
Disaster was like the multi guy of King of the
Hmm.
Dot. It's like
Hmm.
I was the one that was like the punchline rapper. That's why
Agreed.
I like battling URL battlers because a lot of them are punchline battlers, right? So
Hmm.
that's why I think my style translates so well because like I just punch every bar or two.
All right, I respect that. Of all the people you named on this list, who, what's up with you and Disaster, you and Shoddy, and you and Iron?
I think Iron is retired if I'm not mistaken. I don't know when his last battle was. I think it was
Would you see him if he came back?
yeah, I would see Iron, but
Okay.
I'm not going to be actively calling him out or anything
Okay.
just
Okay.
because he's not in the scene right. Like I mean he's a legend in the scene, but he's not active, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
he if he's not coming back to battle rap, he's
Hmm.
done more than enough to just walk
Facts.
off into
Salute
sunset.
Iron. Facts.
Shoddy was kind of retired too, but he's had like a
Great
resurgence
year.
recently.
Great year. He 30 Geechee. Some argue, I think it's a debatable battle, but some argue that he beat Sean.
Very good
Sean.
battle with him and Shine. I
Yep.
think
They
to me,
just announced Shotty and Tay Rock on the KOTD as well. So I don't know. You and Shotty, that's something I'd love to see in 2026.
I want to battle Shoddy in the UK.
I was just gonna say that I'd prefer it if you went out there though.
I like being under pressure. I like the away games. Like
Hmm.
it's home
Okay.
games are fun and but I like being in a situation where it's like, well, if I beat you at your home, what can you say? You can't say it was
Hmm.
the gas, you can't say it was anything. So I
Hmm.
would prefer to go to the UK to battle Shoddy because
Hmm.
he's a god out there. Like you have to really put in work to beat him up there.
Yep, I got him. I hold Shotty in the same regard that I hold Loaded Lux and Mook. You know what I'm saying? Shotty Har and Tony D to me are like the equivalent of Lux and Mook over there. So I got tremendous respect for Shotty. I'd love to see y'all battle, and I'd love to see you in Disaster battle as one of the forefathers of King of the Dot, in my opinion.
Yep.
A legend who's stood the test of time throughout different eras. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
If you're scared of Diz, it's okay. I'm not mad at you for that.
yeah. I'm very, very afraid of Diz. I'm afraid to to get on a phone call with Diz. He's hard to get off the phone, man. If you know that guy Diz, he could talk to you for an hour about aliens and everything. He's a character, man.
Yeah.
Uh, Salute to Diz.
Salute Diz.
He's really dope, man. And I've been calling him out. Maybe it'll
Mhm.
happen one day. It just
Cool.
depends what he wants to do.
Cool. That's fire. Okay, I want to switch gears here in our last few moments. I actually was homeless for some time, and then I got a phone call, and it was an opportunity to be a contractor and hand out light bulbs in Arkansas. And
No
it went
way.
from handing out light bulbs to doing attic installation to doing um, what else? Attic installation, hot water heaters, and basically it was a green initiative where government would fund these programs, and residents could get these things for free, but they would pay contractors to do the work of it. And that's how I started making substantial amounts of money. And I'm hearing that you're kind of in a similar field. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm in a similar field as well. So in the solar panel industry, and then as
And I
well,
did solar as well. Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And
That's
then the
crazy. I just want to tell you that, like, I spent most of my life as a broke man, and what got me through those times was battle rap. And so when I was
oh,
able to
so
make the kind of money I make, I have my own solo company now. When I was able to make the kind of money I made, it was imperative that I give back to this art form that got me through some really tough times in my life.
fire.
So, as a person who's one of those people who's had those battles that have kept me entertained and my mind off of all the trials and tribulations, I want to say thank you for your contribution to the culture, Charron. You are a legend. I hope you know that.
Hey, Frank, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad that some of the entertainment we provided has helped you out, and honestly, it's helped me out too. If people like, I've been through some dark times too, and
Mhm.
self doubt and everything, and battle rap has helped that, and it's really shaped my life. Like I wouldn't have met my wife and have my kids now if it wasn't for battle rap. Just because, when we met, I was doing something on Wild and Out,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't have been on Wild and Out if it wasn't for battle rap, right? And then I
Mhm.
went to visit my dad after I filmed the season, and that's where I met my wife. And my dad was living in Halifax at the time. So
Wow.
if battle rap wasn't a thing, like I wouldn't have even have my wife and kids right now. So it's just kind of crazy, the butterfly effect of everything.
110%. And you're a living legend. Your legacy is solidified. You've done some amazing things in battle rap. You've contributed to the culture in a major way, inspired generations of creatives. Um, but the greatest thing I think you're doing right now is being a great father, and I want to salute
Ah,
you on
shit.
that. And
Thank
how
you,
does that
bro.
feel to be a father?
Yeah, you know what? And I asked everyone before, right? Like, what is it like to be a father? And they're all like, well, you'll know when you find out. You can't really explain it, like it. How can you explain it to someone that hasn't felt it? But it's I would say it's the most rewarding feeling in the world, and it's kind of like surreal. And just the fact that I've seen them when they came out, they're only 2 pounds. They were born 26 weeks. So
Mhm.
to see them go from 2 pounds to like 25 pounds now, and all the progress they're making, it's a wonderful feeling. And I remember my dad used to say, because I used to play hockey when I was younger, not like on a like big professional level or anything, just
Mhm.
junior hockey and everything. And he's like, man, I would prefer to watch my son play hockey than go to an Ottawa Senators game, like an
Wow.
NHL level game. He's
Yeah.
like, I got more joy out of watching you play than going to the professionals. And
Mm.
I always thought he was lying. I was like, no, of course you'd rather go to like a, an Ottawa Senators game. But now I'm like, no, for sure I could see that. So
You
I just want
understand.
to, give them the best life possible, and hope they live a happy life, right?
Absolutely. Sharon, I want to say God bless you and the family.
You as well.
I have no doubt you will be a great parent. You will have a great family. Those kids will grow up and they're very lucky to have a dad like you.
Man,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for taking the time to do this. I hope they had a great nap and you're able to get back to it. And I look forward to whatever you plan on doing in 2026. I remain a Sharon fan. Salute.
Frank, I appreciate that. And before we go, salute to everything you do as well, man. Like the
Thank you.
fact that, there's a lot of opportunists and shady people in the culture, and the fact you're one of the few people that are a real fan of battle rap, and you help, fund certain things. You take your own money and to provide entertainment and make battles happen with no ulterior motive or anything, just to help push the culture forward, man. We need more people like you, and it just speaks a lot about your character. I just want to thank you for what you do to the culture.
I appreciate you, Charron. 2026. I can't wait to see what you do. God bless you, brother.
God bless, bro.
All right, peace.